K9 News Studios. My name is Skylar and this is Grace.
Today we will be discussing the rich history of the isms in the 19th century.
The 19th century is characterized by many different groups. Each of these groups conform to a different ideal that we like to nickname the isms.
There were many different types of isms. Some of them were political, some were economic.
Grace, we need windows in here. Why can't I see any nature at all? It's depressing.
Wasn't in the budget.
Romanticists would not have stood for this tyranny. They greatly stressed the beauty of untouched nature.
Well, Skylar, they also rejected order, so unless you plan on smashing a hole in the wall...
Hey, don't give me any ideas.
Anyway, Romanticists were also favored nobles and simple times in history.
Let's take a look at radicalism. Radicalists were the #1 fan of change. Imagine them as a schedule for the new school year. They knew exactly what they wanted to do and when they wanted to do it, but the ideals themselves were entirely new. Out with the old and in with the new.
You know, Skylar, sometimes I have a hard time getting stuff I want to do accomplished.
Well, then maybe you should consider anarchism. Consider them radicalism's fraternal twin. They had absolutely zero clue what they wanted to do. All they knew is that they wanted massive change.
If you were in the upper class, you may have wanted to consider joining a group called conservatives. Typically, this group consisted of aristocrats and nobles. This was because of the wide support throughout the throne, which in turn protected them.
The middle class, however, supported classical liberalism. Middle-class factory owners and managers didn't exactly like their situation, slaving away for hours on end in factories with machines all day. They wanted more power in politics, but they also didn't want to completely change how things were right now. They were the Democrats of the 19th century.
Now, you can't have a Democrat without Republicans. Socialists were considered a radical form of Republicans in their time. They believed that the economy would do best if state had ownership of industry and not the people, or the government. Speaking of the people,
What about them?
don't you ever think it would be nice to have a society where everyone got along and no one was poor or out of work?
Yeah, right. Who would ever believe that?
Well, actually, utopian socialists did. They believed that a strong and loyal government rooted in assisting the good of the people, there would be no such thing as poverty and unemployment.
That does sound nice, but you don't actually believe that would ever happen, right?
You know, you're starting to sound like a realist here.
A what now?
A realist. They knew that dreaming up fake utopian societies wouldn't help them, so they got real with it. They favored science and reasoning.
Well, personally, I think nationalism is important.
Why is that?
Well, without the strong belief in your country and the support of the people, then who would be motivated to work for and improve your country's economy?
Well, that's true, but not everyone in the 19th century was treated equally. How would that promote nationalism?
It was mostly supported by white males because of that. They had land ownership, voting rights, all the good stuff that the minorities at the time weren't given.
Exactly. That's why groups such as the feminists existed. In the 19th century, women were fighting for their rights to vote. They focused on overturning legal inequality, specifically women's suffrage.
You think things with women's equality are not so hot right now? Well, take a step into your great-great-great-great-great-grandmother's shoes, and that's how it was for her.
That's a lot of greats.
Sure is.
Let's talk about communism. Communism, made popular by Karl Marx, it was the system by which the government had power to make decisions on everything and give everyone equality. This was the belief that the only way to create equality was to let the government have control.
What about other freedoms such as the right of free trade?
The people in favor of communism believed that sacrificing these rights were in the greater good.
Well, capitalists certainly didn't give up that right. They believed in the right of free trade, free speech, and the right to choose what you, as the consumer, want.
Well, that's a wrap on today's news. Today we have covered the isms of the 19th century and even some of their effects on today's society's standard.
I'm Skylar.
And I'm Grace.
And we're K9 News. Woof woof. The 19th century was characterized.
I like your pause. Like, I'm disappointed, but okay.
Stop. Pause it.
Oh, no, now it's... Now that we have covered radicalism, conservatism, feminism, and other isms of the